Is Carrier again, and I am here with part 2 of my video on adult coloring book, transferring adult coloring book pictures into a watercolor block and then painting them with artist grade watercolor paints. So let's get started. First things first is I want to thank everybody for watching. Subscribe if you like the channel, like the video if you like the video. There's a tip jar up here for you to leave a monetary tip if you feel like it. And if you guys have not seen the part 1 of this video, there will be a link to the video right here, and the link will show up right now so that you can see part 1 of this video if you are interested in seeing part 1 of the video. And in part 1 I show you how to take this drawing from this adult coloring book page in this book and then transfer it into this watercolor block. So let's get started and start talking about these wonderful paints that were sent to me. These were the colors that the lovely folks at Mgram sent to me for review. Let me tell you that this is a relatively new company. It's family owned. It's based in the USA, although they source their pigments from all over the world, always looking for getting the absolute best pigments. And so that's part of their process. There's a lot of really exciting and interesting things about this company in particular. It's really high quality control. It really a very good price. And one of the really interesting things about them is a lot of times when you buy tube paints in particular, what you'll get is for your starter set is you'll actually get like a half size of paint or a third size. So this is 15 ml, and a lot of times you'll get a 5 ml tube. But with these, when you buy the sets of 5, and they come in various sets of starter sets of 5, there's a deluxe set of 10. There's a cityscape, there's landscape, there's marinescape, and there's all these different sets, as well as buying the paints individually. You get the full size tube, and this is half an ounce of paint, and you do not need to use a lot of paint at all. If you pull it out like you would like toothpaste or something like that, then you've used entirely too much. So what I use here is, I have a palette, and you can see like this one is probably entirely too much, and that's probably going to last me a long time. I did only a fraction of that on the red, and you can see that this was a blue. You can see this was a red, and you can see there's only a little bit left, and that'll probably last me for a few more drawings. This will last me for a while. So so you don't really need to take out, this one was entirely too much and my hand slipped. So you don't really need to pour out a lot of paint, and then it'll last you a long time. And you can do this with all sorts of coloring books. The other thing that you can do is, I don't know if you guys saw my review on the artist edition of the Secret Garden coloring book. I was not a fan of the artist edition. There'll be a link up here, but I have to revise my view because this took the watercolors really nicely, and I did here a layering test where I just consecutively added more layers. And a lot of these colors were colors that I blended myself. This is the yellow that they gave me with a pinch of brown. The underneath the yellow had more yellow, and then the second layer had a little bit more brown, and then I did the mouth. And this has just been, I don't really have any artistic talent, but this is really fun and really relaxing, and it's so wonderful, like, to be able to do this with adult coloring books. So anyway, but you know, there'll be more books coming out too that are printed on cardstock. So that's really exciting. There's going to be, I heard a rumor that the second book from Joanna Bransford is going to come out in cardstock, and that's going to be great for doing this watercolor method. But anyway, let's go back to the paints that they send me. The website will tell you the opacity, if a color is opaque, transparent, semi-opaque, semi-transparent. They'll also tell you the dyes that are used and the level of light fastness should you decide to frame any of your work. So anyway, so for this, what I want to do with this video is I want to take this blue, which is here, Oh no, that's the wrong blue. Oh, sorry. I think is that the wrong blue? Hold on, let me look at the chart. The other thing that you can do, and this is really something that I've seen a lot of people do, is when you lay your colors out on the palette, I lay them out in the same order that I did them in my swatch, so that I know where the colors go. So like I ran out of yellow, and I'm not going to replace the yellow, so I'm going to leave this empty, and I can use this for blending. But this is going to be the first blue, and the first blue was the, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. My pronunciation is atrocious, and I've been yelled at for it, so I'm just not even going to try. So here is the blue that we're going to pour just a little bit of the blue into some of this. And there's a lot of really interesting, things I like about these paints. Hold on. Let me show you just how this is going to be a little bit of a challenge, just how little paint you need. All right, that's fine. And then I can hopefully get that back in the tube. Come on. All right, I might have to finish this off camera to get this back in the tube, but yeah, that's more than I intended to do, but that's okay. That paint is going to last me quite a while, and then I can close this up. And the other thing is that these paints will last for weeks and weeks and weeks outside the tube if you cover it up and you're careful. So you don't have to worry about wasting paints or anything like that. Just make sure that you cover it up, and that you are so that you're not wasting paints unnecessarily. All right, so now that we have this blue here, and I put this down here. This is weird because this is all stuff that I would normally not do on camera that I'm doing on camera. I'm gonna take my large paintbrush, get some water on here. See the vibrancy and the quality of the pigments here right away. You can see all that, just how that little bit that I used poured all that pigment out. And I'm going to take this blue, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure, watercolor is a very difficult medium to do, but because we're doing this for fun, I don't have to worry about exactly how much water I have, if I have too much or too little, and I can just go for the fun of it. And normally I would use blended color, but in this case, I'm just going to use a direct color. So let me see if I can do this the right way. Okay, so a bit more water in it so that I'm not stuck doing this, but that's okay, because when this dries, this will dry quite cleanly. And there's a bunch of really nice things I like about these paints, and that reminded me of one of the other things I really like about these paints, and I'm going to show you in a second. So you can see how cleanly that comes in. And then if I wanted it to be darker, I can come back in and do a second layer. Hold on. And then do a second layer. So if I wanted it to be darker, I just come back in and do a second layer. And if I want it to be darker still, I go back in and I do a third layer, and so on and so forth until I got the color that I wanted. While that's drying, and they will dry a little bit lighter than they first come in. So while that's drying, I'm gonna go ahead and show you some of the things that I did in this one here. One of the things that I really liked about these is I did the little dark blue swatches first, and then I went back in with the color on top of the dark blue swatches, and I did the same thing here. Where I put the lines going down here first, and then I went back in. And what was really good is that it's able to go back in with another layer without dissolving the underneathness. And so underneathness, that's not a word, without dissolving the paint that you had already laid in, so that you can layer and you can create shading that way. So that's been really fun, and I did that here also. I don't know if you can see a little bit of the light yellow exposed, and then you can see the slightly darker yellow. I did the same thing here. So that's sort of, like various things that you can do, sort of similar to some of the other things we've done in terms of getting shading by just going in with the layers and just being, careful and doing that sort of thing. So there's a lot of you know, with watercolors, that you don't necessarily want to put in the colors as thick as I put them in, and then have that be your final layer. Like you kind of do want to be able to layer, so that's one of the benefits of using this. And then if I wasn't, I'm not necessarily happy with that. I think it's too much of a perfect blue. So then what I probably want to do is maybe mix it up with maybe a little bit of a royal purple, maybe. Try it out here. See how I like it. No, this is too dark. And oh, I like this a lot better. All right, so I like this a lot better. So then what I'm gonna do is, since I like that a lot better than just the raw color, is I'm just gonna lift, let me see if you can see it, and then drop it back in and blend this all out. Back to what I saw. Okay. It's a little bit more, like a more darker hued blue, a more royal blue. So I'm gonna drop this in. More red. All right, I think that's definitely a little bit better. All right, so I'm gonna go with this. You know, this isn't exactly what I wanted. I'm just gonna go with this for the sake of time. So let me go. Hold. Let me go here and then just show you. There you go. That's this is what happens when you try to do stuff on camera. This is what happens when you try to do stuff on camera, but that's okay, because I can go back in and finish my layer. So this is not a big deal. I can go back in, finish my layer. Color is just, it's a difficult medium. And so using that with adult coloring books, you just kind of have to let it go a little bit. And realize that it's not always going to be exactly perfect. It's not always going to be exactly what you envisioned, but the point is to have fun. And it's actually good that I made a mistake, because you can see then that it's not dissolving that green unnecessarily. So I can just lift that up, and then it doesn't dissolve that green underneath. So that's actually a good thing. That's kind of what you want. That's what you want to see. So that's a really good thing. So we have fun doing it, and that's the whole point of this process. So I really wanted to show you these, and I hope you guys really like this video. I hope it wasn't too boring watching me mix paints and make a mistake and then go over it. You know, when this dries, I'll go back in and I'll fix it up. It looks a little bit different over there. It looks a little bit different, but that's the thing. It's, you can go back in and you can layer it and you can fix stuff up. So so there's that. So I really want you guys, if you guys are interested in doing these and doing this paints, is you can get some of these. You can get one of the sets. The sets are about $50 for 5 paints, which is really nice for full-size, high-quality paints. And you get the accurate mix of colors. So anyway, I hope you guys like this video, and really gonna give a big thank you to M. Grams for sending me out these paints to try. And I hope I didn't, and so that's part of the fun too, is that because you have so much paint, it's okay if it's not perfect and it doesn't look exactly right. There's always next time, and there's plenty more paint where that came from, so that's one of the fun parts about getting a nice big tube, is that there's plenty more where that came from. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoy this, and I will see you guys next time. And we'll definitely be having a lot more tutorials and showing you different things about the watercolor, and showing you some more layering and some more blending. So I hope you guys enjoy this and have a great day. Bye.